Everybody likes to be full of personality, admired and successful. Take this boy. Glenn, you think you're doing pretty well. It's a lovely morning and you think you're successful. But you're not, you know. Now he is really the centre of attraction. Just watch him. You'd rather watch her. Okay, but even she's looking at him, and so is she. Oh, Glenn, you really don't want it in letters 10 feet high, do you? They're all interested in the guy that's juggling. Now, you haven't done so well, have you? Let me teach you something that'll make you attractive, popular, to life and soul. It's magic. That's what you need, magic. And what better place to start than at university? I remember it all. It was Cambridge, a fine spring day. All those agile, learned minds by the banks of the River Cam, where they met to practice magic. All members of the Cambridge University Pentacle Club. That means conjurers. This student is very handy with thimbles. Just watch him closely and see if he can fool you like he fooled me. Magicians present their work in such a way that the mind takes no notice of the many things that the eyes can see. 80% of conjuring is psychology, 10% sheer skill in manipulation, and the 10% that's left depends on the use of equipment concealed. Now, we know these thimbles are appearing from somewhere and going somewhere, but where? Back in history, local magicians were as feared and respected as the chieftain. A magic man was always the person who had influence, prestige, and authority. You too can have influence, prestige, and authority. All you need is a few thimbles. You arrive at a party, you produce your thimbles, an expectant hush falls over the whole room, and boy, you've really made the grade. Now, if you think that thimbles are infradig, whatever infradig means, if you think thimbles just haven't got what it takes, then, well, you can switch to rings. Real solid metal rings. The things you can do with metal rings are fantastic. Their proper name is Chinese rings because the Chinese were ringing the changes with them many thousands of years ago. That probably accounts for why they went slant-eyed trying to figure out how these seemingly solid rings go through each other like magic. Of course, you have to start with rings and thimbles and things, but as you progress, you can play around with more varied props, such as women. It gets quite fascinating then, I can assure you. I remember one particular occasion at the local music hall. Yes, but perhaps that's another story. While I was at Cambridge, I just did the groundwork. I hope you're watching, Glenn. You see, that I owe what I am today to my magical training. If you look around you, you'll find it's the magicians that have that extra something. Glenn, Glenn. Oh, I can see I'm going to have to come and show you. Now, come on, over here. And I'll leave you to watch. This trick is one of the most classic of all times. Drawings of it have been found on the walls of ancient Egyptian tombs. The Romans had a name for it too. They called it calcularius, which means a man who deals in pebbles. But in those days, they used pebbles for this trick instead of little white balls. trick is much the same, but the final result is 3 lemons and 1 onion. There you are, Glenn. What did I tell you? It draws them like a magnet. Now don't go, he's doing some more. Now, that's not a sporting approach. The man is doing his best. It isn't his fault you got the brush off. Meanwhile, back on the building site, they're craning their necks to see what's going on. I'm sorry, Glenn, you're too late. You should have been here yesterday. Let me tell you about it. About 2 o'clock, a car rushed up and 2 fellows got out and grabbed hold of this little guy. They tied him up with 18 feet of linked chain. Well, they knew their job. They came from a firm of night security specialists which sees all and tells all. Now, they didn't pull their punches. They wanted to make sure their man was secure. He's an escapologist named Alan Allen. He thinks he can get out of anything, except the stories he tells his wife. And this is one time, however, that if he doesn't get out, he'll be in real trouble. Now, that's it, dear. Now you've got your glasses on. You can see that they have been tying him up. They made his feet secure because they were going to send him up for a stretch. In fact, he would be stretching upside down, just to make it all more difficult. They must have had it in for this guy. They set fire to the rope which attached him to the crane, so if he didn't get out quickly, he'd come down quickly. And you can take my word for it, and that of the night security men, it was all genuine. It's very bracing up there. The view is remarkable. You can see rooftops upside down. You see, Glenn, you could be doing this. Anyone could. All you need is to have the crane driver on your side, a driver who knows his levers. Alan is really attached to his work, attached by a piece of rope which is burning through all the time. He seems to have freed himself all right, but the chains must come right off before he comes down. Those are the rules, and he's stuck with them. Now look out! Oh, whoops, and down he comes. Congratulations all round. Why he wanted to do this, only he knows. It's all over, Glenn, but there is something else I want to tell you. Like to know what I saw on the beach the other day? Well, get off the screen and I'll show you. Girls, don't give up so easily. Glenn, do something. Go round and help them. Be a gentleman. That's better. Off you go. I say, Glenn, hey, you've forgotten. What about the next scene? You know, the seaside bit. So there we were, and we saw this girl getting on a plank. Little did they realize it was all part of an act, a magic act. And when he asked them ever so nicely to take away the deck chairs, what do you think happened? It did. The girl stayed in midair. It just doesn't seem possible, but he passed a rope round her just to prove it. Let's take a closer look. Incredible. And that's another one that Glenn Mason missed. Now, what's he up to now? Oh, after the girls, eh? Oh, I see you know a magician. Well, in you go, boy. What a shame, and it's his new suit, too. Glenn, the magicians come on at 1 in the morning, not 1 in the afternoon. Never mind. You sit around while we follow that blonde. It's rehearsal time at the Satire Club, and here's a young lady who always gets the bird. Blue birds, yellow birds, green birds. She just paints them that way, and they love it. This bird's gone into the box, and she's going to knife it. I didn't seem fat enough for lunch. Might have guessed it. The bird has flown. But back the dove comes, and none the worse. Give up. We'll think of something. There are many people worse off than you. Him, for example. Take a good look at him. He can't do a magic trick either. Look what it's brought him to. Perhaps you can learn something from a man in his state. He's pouring beer from a milk bottle. Glenn, this is your last chance. You're so close to him, you're bound to see how it's done. What a hit you'll be this evening. What luck! There, Glenn. That's magic. Do you want to see more? Hey, Glenn, don't go! Glenn! Glenn!